closing its New York trading floor by year's end because it's barely used. That's where NYMEX oil is traded, the benchmark we use at CNBC for crude oil prices. The prices U.S. businesses received for their goods and services fell for a second straight month, just 0.1%, but it shows inflation is still in check. Senate lawmakers have released a discussion draft of their encryption measure. It would require firms to comply with court orders, which could escalate the current Silicon Valley clash with the Justice Department. Again, the Dow rose 187. Stephanie Shelton, CNBC.
You can get your IRA or 401k delivered to your home in the form of physical gold and silver coins. Augusta Precious Metals is the leader in home delivery gold IRAs. You get free shipping, free insurance, and no professional management fees. Call 855-858-5807 now for your free guide to Augusta Home Delivery Gold IRAs. Call Augusta Precious Metals at 855-858-5807. That's 855-858-5807.
KCAA.
Now, here's a new concept: digital network advertising, where businesses display your ad inside their building. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, your company is going to thrive with digital network advertising. Choose your marketing sites or jump on the DNA system and advertise with all participants. Your business ad or logo is rotated multiple times an hour inside local businesses where people will discover your company. Digital network advertising, DNA, a novel way to be seen and remembered. Digital network advertising with networks in Redlands and Yucaipa. Call in the 909 area 222-9293 for introductory pricing. That's 909-222-9293 for digital network advertising. One last time, digital network advertising, 909-222-9293. Get inspired by industry pros, including Doug Clark from Spike TV's Flip Men. Connect with leaders and property wholesalers on site. Tickets for Think Realty Expo April 23rd are just $125. Save 20% when you register today at thinkrealtyexpo.com and enter promo code KCAA. That's thinkrealtyexpo.com and discount promo code KCAA. Space is limited, so don't delay. Code KCAA. thinkrealtyexpo.com.
Good afternoon. It's 3:03. I'm Di Rice with the very latest in live, local, and national news here on KCAA, 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. A coroner in New Orleans is confirming that ex-Saints player Will Smith was shot 8 times during a confrontation with another man Saturday night. The shooting happened after a confrontation between Smith and Cardell Hayes outside their SUVs. Hayes was arrested at the scene and has been charged with second-degree murder. And a Riverside County firefighter, John D. Guthrie, will posthumously receive the Governor's Medal of Valor Award for acts of heroism. On August 8th of 1959, Guthrie's crew responded to a fire caused by a traffic collision along the Ortega Highway about 2 miles west of Lake Elsinore. As they approached the fire, it quickly began increasing in intensity with shifting winds. Guthrie scrambled back and told his crew to move the fire engine out of the path of the fire and he would join them. Receiving third and fourth degree burns over 85% of his body, Guthrie was transported to the hospital but succumbed to his injuries 5 weeks later. And here at home, a 25-year-old Riverside man died last night after getting hit by a car on El Sobrante Road east of Willow Drive near Lake Matthews. The man was crossing the street when he ran directly into the path of a white BMW driven by a 49-year-old Paris woman. The man was taken to the hospital via ambulance where he later died. And finally, a 6th grader died yesterday after a bully stomped on his chest during a PE class at Ulysses S. Grant Elementary School in Colton. Dominic Gallegos, a 12-year-old, died after losing consciousness on the soccer field. Detectives who went to the hospital where Dominic was taken said there was no evidence of an assault or physical injury that would have caused his death, but they are waiting for a report from the coroner's office. There will be a vigil tonight at the school located on Olive Street in Colton. That vigil will begin at 8 o'clock. Inland Empire weather, we are having sunny weather for the most part, little hazy sunshine, highs into the 70s. Today we were expected to climb to 77. I think we got up to about 75, which is currently where we are at. Tomorrow a little cooler with high near 72, low near 52. And checking out your drive. Through Moreno Valley, there's stop and go on the 215 northbound between Alessandro and Eastridge, the usual. And then the southbound side is slow from Center Street to the 215. The 60 East is slow from Rubidoux to the 215. And that is the very latest with news, weather, and traffic on the station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
Greetings and salutations. This is Dr. Donald Jolly Gabriel on What's It All About? KCAA Radio, 1050 on your AM radio dial and 106.5 on your FM dial. We've lost a couple of calls. Can we try to pick up what's going on now? We have how many? 10 calls? Oh, okay. Ken, are you on the line? Hello? Ken on the line? Hey, Ken, are you on the line? I don't get anybody.
Hello, Dr. Jolly?
Yeah, that's me.
It's Mary.
Hey, Miss Mary, greetings to you.
Hi, how you doing?
I am absolutely wonderful. We've had a little bit of technical difficulty with incoming calls, so you're the only one on the line, but I noticed a couple of lines we're trying to get through. Do you have any influence on having them call back? Somebody's calling back right now.
Dr. Jolly, this is Tim Swartz. I'm also on the line.
Hello, Tim. This is Donald. Nice to see you, or meet you at least. I can't see you. You can see me if you're watching TV, but otherwise, no. Okay, so we have, who's on the phone? Dr. J's on the phone, too? Okay, Dr. J can come on for a minute. Dr. J, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, well, listen to us. We are talking to representatives of St. Bernardine's Medical Center in San Bernardino, California, who are going to talk to us today about some experiences that I had and that I want to explore the wonderful things that they do there. And I have a vested interest in that because I grew up at St. Bernardine's, literally. My family helped start the hospital way back in the 20s and 30s. And I used to, even when I was a little boy, the nuns would watch after me when my mom and dad were out of town. I used to stay in the convent. I grew up there. I got all my religious training there, and it was wonderful. And recently, I have had some great experiences in the physical therapy department, and I wanted to explore that. So talk to me again. Everybody introduce yourself again, please, for our radio audience.
Tim,
This is Dr. J.
Dr. J is on the line. Mary's on the line.
Yes, this is Mary Stanford.
Okay, and?
And this is Tim Swartz. I'm the Director of Rehab here at Dignity Health St. Bernardine Medical Center, and Mary is one of our wonderful physical therapists.
Well, I hope you know how wonderful she is. She got me to do things that I swore I'd never do, and she did it with a smile, and she cajoled me. I'm sure she had a whip ready to use if she had to, but I didn't go that far. I want to know a little bit about St. Bernardine's history. Can you tell me like 2 minutes of St. Bernardine's history?
Oh, would be glad to. Well, Dignity Health St. Bernardine Medical Center, we were founded in 1931, as you alluded to earlier, by the Sisters of Charity of the Incarnate Word. And I believe those are the sisters that you were able to hang around with when you were younger.
Oh, not only that, but I worked at the hospital when I was in high school. I scrubbed every toilet at St. Bernardine's Hospital.
Wonderful.
And they took mercy on me. They would bring me gingerbread and milk and try to placate me and reward me for what I was doing. But let me tell you, I told God, there's no purgatory for me after this.
Well, the sisters still minister here at our facility every day, visiting with patients, and so that the tradition is still there of service for them here at the hospital. Today, actually, Dignity, we have 342-bed hospital, and we're located over east of the 215 and 210 freeway, kind of over by Waterman and the Highland Avenue in San Bernardino. And our hospital really offers full services, from family care to our heart program and our orthopedic programs that have gotten some national attention and recognition for excellence. And then also our rehab services department that's intimately involved in the inpatient side and also on the outpatient side with our facility here. Usually in a year we treat around 72,000 individuals in our emergency department, which is very busy, and we deliver around 2,100 babies, and we're admitting more than about 17,000 patients for treatment each year. So we're very busy. That's all on the inpatient side. And then we also have our outpatient services.
Well, I'm very interested in knowing about your outpatient physical therapy. I want to know where the people come from, how they get referred there, and what you basically do, what Mary did with me and will continue to do with me.
All right. Well, typically, the services that we offer in our outpatient facility here at St. Bernardine's in our rehab facility are made up of 3 disciplines. We have occupational therapy, which it really focuses treatment for individuals who need to get back to doing the everyday things that maybe they're having difficulty doing because of some type of injury, birth defect, or just some type of functional limitation. So the occupational therapists really focus on dressing, maybe feeding activities, just things that are everyday activities that you need to get back to. We also have our speech therapy department, which is also part of our rehab team here. And the speech therapy department focuses in on speech disorders. So that's the types of things where people are having trouble producing words or sounds to communicate. They also focus on language disorders, which has to do with understanding and comprehension. So for someone who's had a stroke and they're having a difficult time understanding when people are talking to them and communicating, they really will work on those types of patients. They also focus on swallowing types of disorders. So if somebody's having difficulty eating or drinking certain consistencies of fluids or liquids, they can do a lot to help a patient who is having a challenge with swallowing disorders. And then, of course, physical therapy, which is your experience with us. And our physical therapy department, really what we're focused in on is movement. We want to look at a person's movement and figure out why is this causing them to have some type of dysfunction and limiting their everyday life. And dysfunction can come in several different ways of pain or not able to walk or lift something or perform a sports activity. There's just lots of different things that can affect that. So we really work with patients that have this maybe some type of disorder that's limiting their everyday functional ability to move in a more normal manner.
Well, that's all very, very interesting. How do people get to you? How do they know about you?
Well, typically patients will have something that is bothering them, and they go see their physician, and their physician will write an order, and that allows us to be able to provide services to the patient. So once they can come to our facility or another facility, but we'd love to have them come here, we set them up with an evaluation. So a physical therapist will come in and treat them, do a full assessment. And what we really want to do is focus in on the patient and what is going on with them, and then create a personal treatment plan for each patient that comes in based upon the things that they need to get back to doing and whatever limitations that they may have. And we really work on a full continuum through the lifespan, from newborns to adolescents to maybe the adult population and also the geriatric population.
Well, I noticed that when I was there. I think it's wonderful what you do. I wanted to know, too, is Mary still on the line?
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, good. Mary, you had me doing all kinds of things, And you said I need more after I finish the prescribed level of treatment. And then you made me an offer that I can't refuse. So I'm coming over there probably tomorrow and not refuse it. And that is to, for a very nominal, almost ridiculously low fee, to have access to your equipment, but on my own, not with a therapist there. Now that I've already known what I'm supposed to do, that I have the privilege of going there, from what I understand, from 5 o'clock in the morning until whatever time you close. I don't know what time that is. What time is it?
We tend to close it around 3 p.m.
Okay, so somebody can go there even in the late morning or early afternoon?
For the gym part, yes.
Yeah, oh my goodness, I am so flabbergasted to hear that. So I'm certainly going to take advantage of that, because what you learn during the initial process of physical therapy is wonderful, but you've got to continue doing it until you retrain your body. So I am very interested in how I might be able to help people, encourage them to do it, to continue to do it. And you and I can talk. I'll see you next week, and you can give me a couple of ideas, and maybe on the show we can use it to promote what's going on and encourage people to go back and use the gym who've already been there and that kind of thing.
And yes, if I may just elaborate on that, and the gym is open on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays until about 3 p.m. Then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it is open until around 11 a.m.
Okay, so in the mornings on Tuesdays and Thursdays and until 3 p.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if we're early birds, we can go how early?
On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it is approximately 5 a.m.
Oh, wow. Lady Di, I need you to come in here for a minute, please. Okay, great. Tell me something about the different challenges, Mary, that you've had as you do this. Any challenges that you've had that have been incredibly challenging, and you've had success with them, and you've seen people come back to life, so to speak?
Yes, there's been a number of patients where we have been able to help them through our services to understand that we can help them to improve the way they move. So we can retrain the tight muscles, stretch them out, strengthen the weak muscles, and give them a new lease on life, literally. It's almost as if we're giving them a tune-up, in other words. And it helps them so much, because then they can do the things they couldn't do before. So in general, there was a person I worked with, and they were able to train their husband even to help them to get out of bed again. And it was a wonderful thing. She would come back and tell me I was able to get him out of bed for the first time in many years because of the way we taught her to help herself, and then she took it back to her husband.
Techniques. You taught techniques that were wonderful.
Yes.
I know, because I was taught some of those techniques as well. And I had to do some very challenging things, and I saw improvement in how I was balancing and how I was using the assets and resources that you have there. I actually saw some results. I went to orthopedic doctor, and he told me I had some fairly serious problems in my back. And I recognized that, and I'm sure Mary remembers, because I could barely walk straight. Well, this is all very interesting, and I really appreciate you sharing that information with me. I want to know, too, about the people who seek treatment there. What kind of personalities do most of the people have, and what kind of maladies do they have? Anything stand out?
Well, the personality, there's all kinds of personalities that come through our doors. As you well know, we have everybody who would like to feel better. So we have patients who come in and they have the back pain or the neck pain, or they've been in an injury or a car accident. They've fallen at home. A lot of our elderly patients have a fear of falling, and we help to retrain their strength in their body and their balance again, so that they reduce that fear again and they can go on with their lives.
Well, I can understand that, because I was injured when I was 13. I hurt my back very severely, and that is what is haunting me now. And I have some physiological problems that are quite obvious, because sometimes I'm in such pain and my muscles are reacting in a very strange way so that I can't stand up straight. I look like I'm 142 years old, and I'm bent over when I walk. And Mary has been quite successful in trying to help me And I am grateful to her, absolutely grateful to her.
Did you want to elaborate on what we tried to do with you, Dr. Jolly?
Elaborate, yes, elaborate. Tell people how you used to whip me around, and of course I'm saying that in a motivational way, of course, because you were wonderful. You are so superb. I couldn't believe how comfortable you made me be, forcing me to do things I didn't want to do.
Well, that I think that goes back to what we were talking about on how we were trying to help people to connect with what they needed to do to help themselves. And that's the biggest thing that we do as physical therapists or as any therapist. We try to connect with the patient and find what motivates them to want to help themselves and to follow through with the exercises and stretches that we give them. So, and that's a talk I try to have with every single patient. Some people are so motivated when they come in, I have to hold them back. And others, I have to push forward a little bit more. And it's just trying to connect with that person who has a little bit more uncomfortableness with the process and trying to find what works for them, a certain other stretch or another way of doing something that they will take home and try to follow through on. Because if I'm successful if they follow through with what they're supposed to do at home.
Well, that's absolutely right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I tried my best to do the things you told me to do, and I noticed improvement, especially when I was doing a few things that I considered a little bit bizarre. I was walking sideways on a big rubber rod that was square, and I had it helped me with my balance, I think. Can you tell me what that did for me?
Yes, that's it's called our foam balance beam. So it's made of foam, and what it does is it helps to challenge your balance when you're stepping on it because it's not a firm surface. So it gives, and when it gives, it challenges your balance more. So as I progressed you through your balance exercises, I had you step up onto the foam balance beam to help you to improve your balance even further and to stand on it on one leg at a time as you were able to tolerate. And so, again, we try to progress people to different levels of challenges. And we started with just a firm floor, and then we moved to the foam balance beam, and then we might move to the trampoline. And the trampoline, standing on it, is even harder still.
Oh, I haven't done that yet. I'm anxious. I want to do that.
We might go there. It depends on how comfortable I feel with the patient's ability to not hurt themselves. So I always want to make sure that I don't put the people in a position where they're going to hurt themselves. So I will always progress them through the different challenges.
Well, that's incredible. Now, you know we are a radio station, and you know what radio stations do. They take breaks. So this is time for one of our breaks. This is Dr. Donald Jolly Gabriel on KCAA 1050 on your AM radio dial. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hyperbaric oxygen therapy has only lately begun to gain recognition for treatment of chronic degenerative health problems, including stroke, diabetic ulcers, wound healing, brain injury, and many other disorders. Whenever blood flow and oxygen delivery to vital organs is reduced, healing can potentially be aided with hyperbaric oxygen therapy.
Are you a candidate for hyperbaric oxygen therapy?
Contact Dr. Donald Jolly Gabriel, PhD, for a free consultation and see if this groundbreaking therapy can help you. Mention KCAA and get a free gift. Call toll-free 1-877-423-7986. That's 1-877-423-7986.
Or go to hyperbaric-solutions.com. That's www.hyperbaric-solutions.com.
Call toll-free right now, 1-877-423-7986. Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Behind on your payments or barely making minimums? Do your massive interest payments have you running like mad in circles? How long can you keep it up? Stop running. Let the Thomas & Law Group carefully plan your escape. The Thomas & Law Group has proven itself for over 18 solid years, helping thousands of people like you and me reclaim our financial future. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and offices in all 50 states. And the best part? There are no upfront fees at all. You won't pay a dime until the job's done. No upfront costs, no monthly fees, no banking fees. No other law firm does that. I'm a paid spokesperson, not a lawyer, and every case is different. But really, if you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, call the Thomas & Law Group right away for a free, no-obligation consult with a trained legal analyst at 800-460-9790. Call now because you're tired of running in circles. 800-460-9790. 800-460-9790.
It's time for the KCAA Community Calendar, brought to you exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools. The clear mission of Learn for Life is to motivate and mentor students who have dropped out of school and provide them with the personalized education and technical training necessary to advance their lives.
From the KCAA Community Calendar, I'm Mark Westwood. Everyone's talking about Third Thursdays in San Bernardino. Yes, rediscover City of San Bernardino's Third Thursday Food Fest. Switch up your lunchtime routine and try the gourmet food truck Third Thursday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Court Street parking lot between E&D Streets in downtown San Bernardino. Enjoy delicious, tasty food from food trucks such as My Delight Cupcakery. Taste some of the delicious Cousin's Maine Lobster, JoJo's Grill-A-Dog, and you can't leave out Baby's Badass Burgers. All kinds of mouth-watering delights, hot off the trucks, and plenty to eat. Put an end to dull, boring fast food and truck on over to City Hall in downtown San Bernardino for the Third Thursday Food Fest. And don't forget to check out Rediscover San Bernardino's Facebook page at facebook.com/SB Third Thursdays. That's THIRD Thursday. And that's a look at the KCAA Community Calendar. I'm Mark Westwood.
The KCAA Community Calendar is presented exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools where students can complete their education on a part-time basis. To find a resource center nearest you, call 1-877-360-LEARN or visit Learn for Life online at learn4life.org.
MyBrideandGroom.com announces their 2016 Bridal and Event Show on Sunday, May 1st from 11 to 4 at the beautiful Tennessee Gardens in Redlands. Talk to seasoned professionals who know just how to deliver what you're looking for. A worry-free special day to be remembered. All net proceeds go to help the nonprofit Arrowhead Alliance of the Inland Empire. Meet area professionals who will help you create great memories and magic to be remembered. And vendors, ask about our special advertising matching program. It'll match the money you donate to participate for on-air and print advertising. Go to mybrideandgroom.com for more details. That's mybrideandgroom.com or call 909-885-8497. That's 909-8497, 909-8497 for more information.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM are San Bernardino strong.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. I have a question. How do you, I know what Mary did to me, but what's the overall methodology that you use to help with resistance? Because a lot of people have resistance to do some of the things. They don't understand why they have to do them. They're hard sometimes, very challenging. So if you could share that with our audience, I think that would be great.
Are you speaking to me or to Tim?
Both of you, whoever wants to answer, you can answer just however you want.
Oh,
but
okay.
I want to hear your opinions of how to overcome resistance when you find patients who aren't really as cooperative as they should have been. And I felt at one time I wasn't, and you were just incredible. I honor you and praise you for how you handle me, because I'm sometimes not easy to handle.
Well, I try to, like I said, what I try to do is try to help the person to understand how important it is for them if they want to get better. What is their goal? Your goal was to have less pain when you're driving for those long hours that you're driving out to Orange County. And my goal was to help you to achieve having less pain. So I knew, based on how I saw your posture, that you had a lot of tightnesses going on on the front side of your body, and a lot of stretched muscles on the back side of your body, and weakened muscles. And I knew that we needed to stretch out all the tight muscles, and we needed to strengthen all of the weak muscles. And it was a total body approach, because it's a head-to-toe condition. And I wanted to work on your balance, too, because I didn't want you to fall after you got all this strengthening and stretching, but I still didn't want you to fall. And if we hadn't addressed your balance, you still could have fallen easier.
That's right. That's very true. I noticed that, especially, that big ball you had me throwing, that heavy ball, throwing into like a trampoline thing that was on its side.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked doing that. It was fun, but I knew intuitively it was really helping me with my balance and my ability to stay up without falling over.
Oh, yes. What's wonderful about that is I work your entire body head to toe with that machine. So you're throwing a weighted ball against the trampoline, and you're standing there about 6 feet from it. And as you're throwing that ball, you have to track it with your eyes. So you're challenging your balance by visually tracking it with your eyes. And you have to catch the ball so it doesn't hit you in the face. It's really important. You have to catch it so it doesn't knock you over and back onto your backside onto something. So it's a very important, challenging activity for people.
And it's a heavy ball.
Yeah, and then increase the weight as I feel people are capable of handling it. So we start with the 2-pound ball, and then we go to a 4, and then a 7, up to a 15-pound ball. And that's usually for the people that are much bigger, bulkier, and can handle that kind of a mass. But everybody has a challenging area with that one exercise, so I try to just progress the person again through that exercise and see how they can tolerate it. But I don't want to rest on our laurels at any way. If I don't challenge your brain, your body won't be challenged. So when the brain becomes bored, the body becomes bored. So I'm going to keep progressing every patient I see, almost every visit, and I'm going to change something up because I don't want their brain and their body to become bored with what we're trying to do. And that also overcomes some of those resistances you feel with some patients. It's changing things up, too, so that they don't feel bored with what they're doing.
Dr. Jolly.
Yes.
I think one of the two things that Mary, I think, pointed out are really important is the creativity and the types of activities and therapeutic prescriptions that the therapist is coming up with, keeping patients so that they're being challenged and they're not bored with what they're doing is one strategy that we use to overcome resistance. And I think the other one that she mentioned about really focusing in on what's important for the patient, what are the patient's goals, because that's something, once we establish that at the initial evaluation, that's something we can always point back to them when things start getting to be a challenge for them. Like, then we can say, hey, remember, you really wanted to be able to pick up your kid or your grandchild, or you wanted to be able to go to the grocery store, increase your independence, and not be afraid of falling. So pointing them back to those things, I think, is one of the other important ingredients that we use. And often what I've also found, too, is that when you break tasks down and the goals, some people may feel like, I've had this pain and I want it to be no pain at all. And sometimes it's better to break that goal down into, well, let's say we decrease your pain to half of what it was and increase the time that you were doing whatever activity like standing and washing dishes at the sink. increase that from being able to do it for 5 minutes to 10 minutes before your pain increases. So setting small goals that then we can kind of celebrate with the patient and point back to them and say, listen, look, you've already achieved this. And I think that really helps motivate people also when they're not feeling like they're making a lot of progress.
Well, I think that's very, very important. And the fact that you do it in steps is also important. And the motivating factors that I saw there, because I was there for a while each time I went, and I observed what was going on around me. And I thought it was very, very well done and very professional. That leads me to a question. What if somebody who's listening to us has some physical therapy issue or some bodily issue, and they want to look into physical therapy on an outpatient basis, of course? What do they do? How do they approach you or get to you or whatever they need to do?
Well, in our setting, what they would do is they would probably need to check in with their physician to get an order for a physical therapy evaluation and treatment with a diagnosis for whatever the condition, the medical issue that they're having, and then that would allow them to be able to contact us. And then, often we would, check on insurance and those different types of things, and arrange for them to come in for treatment. But usually right now the physician is the gatekeeper for us here at St. Bernardine.
Okay, so it's like if I need some pain pills or some antibiotics or whatever, I go to my physician, he sends me to the pharmacy or she sends me to the pharmacy. In this case, I went to the physician that I work with every day, and I told her, I said, I want an independent referral to do physical therapy. She sent it over to you, and I got started. You checked the insurance, and we did it all, and that was wonderful. By the way, I want to come back for an appointment next week, and I'm going to make it. And I wanted to know, at that appointment, I'm going to ask how to do things on the gym basis. But I was so impressed when Mary said, by the way, we have all this equipment, which is obvious to me. I mean, it's like a room that's got probably over $1 million or much more worth of equipment in it. And she said, and you're welcome to come and use this. We're open from 5 in the morning till whenever. And the fee is so ridiculous. I thought, she's nuts. She's nuts. So tell me about that. How do you?
Yeah, we offer our gym to kind of a community. We have what's called a community program, and that's set up through a donation to our hospital's foundation. And our cost is pretty nominal. It's about $62.50 every 3 months. And the information, it can be found on our website, which is dignityhealth.org/St. Bernardine Medical /rehab. So that's dignityhealth.org/St. Bernardine Medical Center /rehab, or you can just contact our department here and we would be able to help set that up. But usually, if we've had a patient who comes in, they can kind of transition into that program because they've gotten to know us. They'll feel hopefully comfortable on the equipment and be able to, go through their program on their own, and we're always around in case they had a question or something.
Well, I am very anxious to do that. I know the equipment you have is superb. And it looks to me to be very expensive stuff, and I feel honored to be able to use it. That's like $22 or $23 a month.
Yeah, that's about it for unlimited usage.
Hallelujah. Well, you'll see me there soon. So, what about the direction? What happens to a person as far as they're getting direction on how far to go, and who makes that analysis when they feel you're ready to take another step, or when you're finished, or whatever?
Direction as in they're done with their therapy and beyond therapy, or during the therapy?
Yeah, both, everything. How much more do you need? How are you doing? You're done with your so many treatments now, and look at you, you're much better. Whole thing.
We go back to the goals and see if the patient has met the goals that they've wanted to achieve, and then we also look at what we feel that they may still need too. And it's a collaboration amongst the therapist and the patient to find out have they met the goals that they want to meet, and do we feel that they need a little bit more intervention? And then we take a look at the whole picture. So we want to make sure that we've achieved that long-term goal for that patient too, in terms of are they able to pick up their grandchild now? Are they able to reach up into the cupboard? Are they able to walk in the store again and not lose their balance? And if we can take and help them to refocus them on their long-term goal and let's say the big picture approach, as in the forest and the trees effect. So they're stuck in all this forest of all the pain they've had and the inability to do the things that they wanted to do in life. And then we're trying to help them see that there is a forest out there, the big picture approach, because they're stuck in the trees. And if we can help them to see this big picture approach again and get them focused on the fact that they can now go garden again. And it took 1.5 years to get them to the point where they could garden again, but they didn't know that they could even have therapy to help them to get to that point. And so we will take a look at the big picture for them and the smaller details on their goals too, and what we feel that they may need, and then we make recommendations back to the doctor based on if they need more therapy or if they're ready to be discharged from therapy.
Okay, thank you for that. We have a caller on the line. Is it Jason, Di? Yeah, Jason's on the line. Jason, welcome to What's It All About?
Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
greetings to you, please.
I had a question for the physical therapist, actually. I do a lot of work with dead weight. I work with quadriplegics, and I've been doing it for just a little bit over 10 years. And I tend to get a lot of shoulder tension. I'm not sure if it's how I'm sleeping or if it's a result of all the dead weight lifting over the years, but I tend to get a lot of cracking with certain movements. When I do a full circumduction, for example, over my head in particularly, and although it doesn't hurt, there are times when I get jolts of pain, and I feel like it might be a problem that might surface in the future. What are some things that I could do in advance to avoid having this become a problem, if it's a problem at all? Is it, for example, natural to just have our joints crack like that during circumductive movements?
Well, my concern is that you're getting a jolt of pain. So I would ask you to go see your doctor and get a prescription for physical therapy so that we can evaluate you and see what you actually need, what tightnesses you might have, and what strength deficits you might be experiencing at this time after years of doing this.
Yeah, I would. Does that sound like something that might be a problem, or something that might be a problem in the future? Because again, it doesn't exactly hurt right now. And I think, I remember I used to stretch a lot when I was just about 3 years, 4 or 5 years into the job. And I never had any of this problem. So,
again, I would really ask that you go see your doctor and get a prescription for physical therapy.
And I think the reason that we say that is that it's very important from a physical therapy standpoint when we're assessing patients and looking at what's going on with you. I think Dr. Jolly can attest to this. We do a whole body systems assessment. And, sometimes an issue that somebody's having, like let's say you're having an issue like you have in your shoulder. Well, that could come from many different types of issues. And so really to get a really good picture and to get the best advice and to get which really is a design therapeutic program that's specific for you and what you have to do, and maybe what type of movement dysfunction or education and body mechanics and lifting and positioning and all those different types of things. It's really a combination of being able to, for a therapist to really see what you're doing, see how your shoulder's moving, see how the joints around the shoulder are moving, and take a full assessment. That's really the best way to make sure that you're coming up with a treatment plan that's individualized for each person and specific to their needs.
Okay.
But it definitely sounds like, something to be aware of, especially if you're doing lots of lifting and these different types of activities, that in a repetitive type of form, repetitive injuries do happen often.
Okay. All right.
I have a young man that works with us for a couple of years, Jason, that does what you do, and getting people into the hyperbaric chamber is one thing he helps with all the time. And I see him lifting people that seem to be twice his weight, and it's not easy. It's not easy to lift them out of a wheelchair. They're completely helpless, and put them on the gurney to wheel them into the hyperbaric chamber. Not easy at all. So is this the kind of thing that you do, this similar kind of things?
Yes, that sounds very accurate. It's not unusual to go through about 13 or 15 transfers in a day, and there isn't always somebody available to assist, so you need to kind of, learn some basic body mechanics and whatever you can to protect yourself. Waist belt helps, but again, it's just this shoulder issue, which is very interesting because I would imagine that the discomfort would originate from the lower back, considering that it's bent over a lot, but it's the shoulders. So
I have a question for you. What is your age?
30.
30. Well, and how many years have you been doing this for?
For just over 10.
Oh, since you were 20. Okay. Well, there's a lot of repetitive motion going on, as Tim spoke to earlier. And it would really help you to get into a program where we can just take a look at everything that's going on so we can feel what the joint is doing, too, and see its movement. It would help. We don't want that to develop into a problem later.
And where are you guys located?
We're at 2101 North Waterman Avenue in San Bernardino, area code 924.
Oh, so you're local.
Yes, we're right on Highland and Waterman.
Okay.
Very centrally located, and actually, Jason, if you're in,
I might poke my head in there and refresh your memory of this phone call.
And remember that we do need to, like Mary had spoken about before, it's good to go through your primary care physician and get a prescription.
That's even necessary for a basic assessment?
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But for a tour, no, I'd be happy to take you on a tour. Meet me at the hospital some morning. We'll have a designated place, and I'll take you on a tour.
Is there free breakfast included?
I'll include breakfast. They have a wonderful cafeteria. It is perfectly wonderful. The word that I usually use to prescribe it probably is on the blacklist, so I won't say it. But it is so good that's why I call it what I call it.
Yeah.
You want to know what I call it? Can I say it? Will I get thrown off the air?
I don't know. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Will I get thrown off the air if I say it's totally orgasmic?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
That's okay. Okay, great.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny because I have the second theory about my shoulder pain, and I know it sounds kind of weird, but I looked it up and it might be something common, but there's something called excessive compulsive masturbation.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought that maybe, just maybe, that might be a cause of it.
Well, if you need confession, call me.
Okay, because I kind of tried it, and I touched my muscle there, while I was doing it. And I could feel the muscle going back and forth, back and forth.
This is revealing. Now, what we need to do is show you this place, and you can go to, we have a couple of doctors who I'm sure would refer you, and get an evaluation. Evaluation is very, very important, because they're able to assess where you are and chart where you should be, and then you work your way into it. And I think that's very, very important.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
We'll play around and figure it out. Okay,
thank you for calling. You can reach me through the show anytime, and I'll take you over to St. Bernardine's or meet you there, introduce you to Mary, and you can get a sense of what they do. It's a high-quality...
breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast, too. Free breakfast, absolutely.
All right, breakfast.
Take care. God bless. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was an interesting phone call, to say the least. Okay, Mary?
Yes.
Are you there? Okay, it's interesting to note that it might be difficult for some people who don't have a physician. Are there any physicians who you can just call who don't know who you are or what you are or anything and get a prescription for an assessment? It seems there's such little risk in an assessment that a doctor would be open to doing it.
I'm not able to just call up a physician and ask for an assessment at this time. But they can find a doctor on our website.
Okay, good. Oh, please give the website. Now, before you give the website, listen to me, everybody. Oftentimes on the radio and the television, we have a tendency to give out numbers without having people prepare. So would everybody who wants to write this number down grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, make a line on the paper to be sure the pen is working, and then when Mary gives the information, you can write it down and she'll repeat it again so that we will maximize the possibility of you capturing it, okay? So let us begin.
Okay, so you want to call 1-800-566-7262.
Okay, let's repeat it again.
1-800-566-7262.
That sounds good to me. Okay, I hope everybody got it.
And that way they can find a doctor and hopefully it will meet their needs.
Amen. Sounds good. Well, physical therapy is absolutely, to me, one of the most important things for people who have limited movement problems or pain-oriented problems because it's pretty miserable. I mean, that's why I did it. That's why I'm doing it. I drive to our medical center every day in the car, almost 4 hours, and I'm driving about 1,100 miles a week, and that's contributing to it, along with an old injury when I was 13 years old working for my family's ice company, manufacturing company. I tried to save a 350-pound block of ice from falling over, and instead I fell over and injured my back, which I'm still dealing with. And it's not fun at all. But what you do, and I already know that it helped me. You know, I'm not finished yet at all. I know that. But it did help me, and it gave me some skills, and I am forever grateful for that. And I want you to know that, and whoever's listening, I want them to know that, and whoever's from the hospital, I want them to know that. I tell everybody that I had such an incredibly positive experience there. And I've gone to the emergency room a couple of times at St. Bernardine's Medical Center, too, and I've always found what I like to say a much more civilized approach than I have experienced in other hospitals. So that's a good vote of confidence, I think. Well, I am just so delighted. We got about, 7 minutes left, Lady Di? Approximately 7 minutes left. So what I want to do is remind everybody that our purpose as members of the human race is to give all we can gather in terms of our love and our experience and our concern for our brothers and sisters. We have a great purpose, and that purpose is to make this earth the most incredible earth that exists anywhere in any universe. And we're screwing up. It's not happening. Our world is a mess. And you know what? When the individual parts are a mess, then the whole is going to be a mess. When the cells start going crazy, what do we call cancer? We say inappropriate, wild replication of cells that take over. Well, you know, bad stuff and not good stuff can take over, and we can create a mess. So I want to encourage us all to link in to our belief systems. Find some source of faith. Faith gives you possibility, and possibility gives you hope. Without hope, we are hopeless. Nobody really wants to be hopeless, but we create hopelessness by not reaching out in faith for things that will deny us the great opportunity of developing hopelessness. And maybe hopelessness is good for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 1 day, but it certainly isn't a way to live. We have incredible possibility and potential. Our body is the most incredible thing in all the universe. If you start looking at the human body, you will be absolutely amazed, and it can replicate itself. We are creatures of a divine God who just did so much, and we're in denial. We're living selfish lives, and we're not being as loving and kind, and we're not following or even knowing what rules are to get along with each other. Look at the world. Look at some of our families. Look at the crime rates. It's a mess. So let's challenge each other and ourselves to be the very best we can, to do the best, to come from love, to come from. I've been reading everything that Pope Francis writes lately. And you know what? I am totally amazed. It is about love. It's about compassion. It's about understanding the depth and the roots of things. It's about not condemning people and being crazy and laying guilt on each other. And that's the way we should live our lives. So that's a bit of my advice for this particular show. And I want to remind you that I reveal to you what is the worst evil demon from the deepest, darkest pit of hell. The worst evil demon from the deepest, darkest pit of hell in your life is processed sugar. And in my life, in all of our lives. So I want to challenge you to look at sugar. We're going to do a program on sugar. We're going to have a couple of specialists on, and we're going to talk about the producing of the disease diabetes, which we produce in our body by what we put into our mouth. And it's a pretty miserable disease. It can end with all kinds of big problems we don't want. So we want to dedicate one of our shows to that before too long. And perhaps we can get someone from St. Bernardine's. You have some great people over there to come on the show and talk about that as well. And maybe we can put together a seminar at the hospital and Mattich Education Center, one of those places, and really start teaching people how to create wellness in their own lives and what to be aware of with the local hospital's capabilities to help us do that. We do need to do that.
And Dr. Jolly, just one last thing.
Yes.
A lot of patients don't realize how good they can feel if they would just address their pain through physical therapy and what we might be able to help them achieve.
Amen. Say that again. That's worth saying again.
A lot of patients don't realize how good they can feel if they would just address their pain and or the problems that they're having through physical therapy.
Amen. I agree with that 100%. And I want you guys to come back on the show. I'd like to see if we could get a couple of people who would be willing to make a testimony of their experiences with physical therapy. So think about that, and if it's not against hospital policy or anything and somebody's willing to come on the show, let's get a couple of patients and talk about what they did and what their experiences were.
And may I say something else?
Say whatever you want, man.
I am just so thankful that I got to work with you, and I'm thankful for everybody that's been involved in this process, from my director to the administration to marketing to nursing and everybody I work with and my peers. It's been a wonderful experience, and I just want to say that we have a wonderful team here at Dignity Health St. Bernardine Medical Center, and we need to keep promoting this wonderful team experience at this hospital for both our inpatient and our outpatient.
I love that. I love that. And, I want to remind everybody that this show is archived on the NBC KCAA radio archives. And maybe, Lady Di, you could tell us how to listen to it if anybody wants to listen to it. And I understand they can make a copy on their computer. Is that right? Make a copy?
Sure.
With okay, good. So Lady Di is going to talk to us.
Yeah, all you have to do is go to kcaaradio.com. And let me see, you're going to go to the Wednesday shows, I'm sorry. We air on Wednesdays, and you'll find Dr. Jolly's mug.
How are they going to know what I look like? Is my name there?
Well,
too?
It'll be with your show.
Oh yeah.
It'll be with your show. What's it all about? So I've gone on there right now. Let's see. We're going to go weekday schedule. Let's see. So you can click on, let's see. Okay, today's schedule, full schedule. But there's also a place where you can click on a Tuesday or any day of the week. But if you scroll down, let's see.
Shows names, what's it all about? Don't forget that.
Yeah, and it'll say web and then podcast to the right, and you click on podcast and it'll give you the last shows.
Sounds good.
And today's date is April 13th, so that's the show you want to click on.
Amen.
If you want to listen to this show.
It looks like we only have a minute left.
Come in and get your tune-up.
Come on in and get a tune-up. Everybody, we all need a tune-up. Yeah, and I'll give you a personal guide if you want to call me. I'd call a radio station and ask for me. All right, Lady Di, thank you. How much more minutes do we have?
We have about 40 minutes. Oh, okay. Here's what you can do.
40 seconds.
40 seconds, yes.
Yeah.
To the top of your screen, there will be all these people scrolling across. It says Home Schedule. If you click on Schedule, or if you just move across Schedule, you have full schedule Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you would then click on Wednesday.
Sounds good. Well, I want to remember to tell you all that you should be thankful to God, your creator, whatever your concept is of this wonderful creator. Be grateful always to tune in and take the best care you can of yourself. Thank you, St. Bernardines, for being here. Thank you, staff, for being on the radio show. And we look forward to seeing you next week at What's It All About, 1050 on your AM radio dial, KCAA, at 3 o'clock.
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
Stocks rallying for a second day. The Dow rose 187, NASDAQ up 75, and the S&P 500 gained 20. Crude oil prices were down 41 cents on a big buildup in supply.